Hey everyone, we're going to do a quick video on how to make our loops a little bit more sophisticated. Currently, our loops typically look something like this, where we're doing it. This is just, I don't know, something that's going to run for 10 times. And what I'll do is make this, the problem with this is that it's a little bit long to write, and there's a more condensed way that we could write the same exact thing. This is a good way to get started because it's really clear what's happening. We're starting with a value of count is equal to 0. We're increasing count each time, and then running the loop as long as count is less than 10. So it's very clear about what it's going to do. I'm going to share a different version of this that's a little more abstract. It's not quite as clear what's happening, but it's going to be a lot more concise and save you some time and make your code look a little bit more sophisticated. Okay, I'm going to try and make this short, but I do want to be thorough too, so feel free to skip ahead. Some of the stuff just you all know already. One thing that I always talk to students about is that any loop really has three things. It's a start, an end, and an increment by. And so, again, if this is something you've heard a million times, you can, hit that little mouse button ahead a couple times, or hit the keyboard button ahead a couple times. But everything has like a start, an end, and an increment by. In here, our start is that the value is going to be 0. That the count, oh, that's pretty. So for the start, it's going to be at count is equal to 0. End is going to be, this is kind of our ending condition, and then we're incrementing by 1. And so what I want to do is compare this same exact code, but we're going to write it in just a little bit of a different syntax. So let me pop back over to my code, and we'll think about the start, the end, and the increment by. So another way of writing this is I can actually do this. So we're going to do something called a for loop. So we could say for int count is equal to 0. We're going to say count is less than 10, and then count plus plus. And I think it's going to give me a little error because I already used count up here. But this command does the same exact thing as these whole bunch of lines, except, well, I didn't do my system out print. Hi. Didn't do that. But otherwise, it's going to do the same exact thing. This is going to do a loop through for 10 times. We can just take a look. We're going to run it just if you don't trust me. Hopefully you trust me. But you can see it's going to print out hi 10 times. And that's what this kind of syntax is doing. So let me pop back over to the whiteboard, and we'll break down kind of what's going on here and how you can use this. All right, so I'm going to leave the other diagram up there just to emphasize that what we're doing is really the same thing. There's still start, there's still end, there's still increment by. It's just all in just a more condensed format, because that's kind of what coders do over time, is make things a little bit easier on themselves, so they have to write out all that code. So the start is just, right here, the int count. Same exact thing. We're still declaring a variable. It's just happening inside of this for statement. We're still having an end. Same exact thing. And we're still having an increment by. So you can still play with those values in all the same way that we played with our while loops. You can start it at, I had count starting at 0, because it's pretty traditional to have our value starting at 0. But I could do kind of really whatever, I could put whatever value in there I wanted for my count. The variable didn't have to be count. Pretty typically, this would be for int I, but I just want to be kind of keeping up our traditions of saying count in here. It's the same thing. We could have increment by. This, instead of being count plus plus, it could be count plus equals 2. So it's going to go by 2 every time. There's a lot of different ways that you could use this. It's functionally the same exact thing as a while loop. It's just slightly different, more compact syntax. That's kind of just the way coding goes over time. It becomes more compact. All right, so I'm going to leave that there for you. The assignment for this one is going to be just to translate code that you've already done into from a while loop into a for loop. So I will, see you later.